done here? Okay, back again with another live stream today, and all 2 in 1 day. I'm going to go back to work on my Net Pro Max. I'm going to upgrade the Fedora 21 on it to, or I'm going to reformat it, not just upgrade it, but to Fedora 28, and I'm going to turn it into just a server, probably as they call it a, let me check my sound here so I'll quit fiddling around. As a headless server. I'm not going to put a desktop. Well, it won't really be headless, I mean completely, because I can plug a monitor. Headless usually means you don't have a monitor or a keyboard plugged into it, but it's going to be out in the garage, and I'm not going to put a graphic user interface, a desktop on it. So at least not, well, if it's too much of a pain to work with it that way, I won't. I always have put, either XFCE made or back in the day, Genome 2 on mine. Usually I have my server right here where the Net Pro Max is sitting right now. Well, off to the right of the monitor. I've got the screen pointed at the monitor so that I can show it while I'm booting up and everything. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'll get the KVM switch over there on it. Turn it on. I think I missed the with the button. There we go. Just got to hold it in a little longer. Okay, so I don't know. I think I tried testing, see if it was going to boot earlier. It didn't recognize the USB stick. I think I didn't have it plugged in all the way, so I messed around with it. I think that's what I figured out. So maybe it'll see it right away, because I went into BIOS. No, it's still going straight to the Fedora 21 system. So I'm going to reboot it and go into BIOS and see if it sees that thing. If it doesn't see it at all, then my writing and of the Fedora 28 on there might not have worked right. It showed to work right, but never know. I do know that what was on there before worked. Well, I didn't do it. I was sitting here dazed and confused. I didn't hit my F1 quick enough. I believe it. If I remember right, it's F1. Oh, it says delete. I thought it said F1 yesterday. Anyway, there we go. Boot. Yeah, removable media on top. Hard drive on the bottom. CD, DVD second. So hard disk drives. Oh, there we go. Now it sees it. I just need to move it up. So if I just, to be safe, I notice it sees it as a drive and as a CD drive. So I think that's because of the way Fedora does its partitioning on there when it builds you a USB, bootable USB. Yeah, that might be something to pay attention to. They usually just showed up as a removable drive or something like, usually a removable drive. Depends on the BIOS and stuff, what it says. And that's all. I don't want to change any of that. So, yeah. But it was still stayed where I had set it last time at removable media first. And then, now it says removable, second SanDisk, third SanDisk. So, it don't even have the hard drive in the list now. So, that was automatically changed when I raised SanDisk. The SanDisk is the brand of my USB stick. Okay, so you boot it up. See, it should save. Hit enter, save. Well, it doesn't. Can't really. BIOSes are so different. So no need to go into all the details of the BIOS. I didn't even pay attention to what brand it was, but it's an Asus motherboard. You see the model number right there, P5PE VM. That's an older one, but it's 2.8 gigahertz Celeron, Pentium 4 class. There we go. Test the media, or I'm going to test it first because this is a brand new write of this media. Usually I skip that, but this time I'm going to test it. And well, I skip it if I know I've tested it once, or sometimes I just don't want to and I try it and it works. But sometimes you can usually get away with not running the test, but I have had it happen to where it boots and seems fine, and then when you go through all that time and trouble to do the install, something goes wrong. So now there's some errors, but they should just be the ones you always get on a lot of these older SR1. That would be the DVD drive. So yeah, there's nothing in it. CD, yeah, DVD drive. That's what those are. If you see those and it's in a hard drive, then you probably got a problem. Unless reformatting it can straighten that out. But now it's checking it. It's already at 70. Once fast, I can't read the numbers. Almost to 100 now. There we go. So it used to take a while to do that, but well, CD and DVD drives back in those days, when you installed from those, they took a lot longer to read, you know. And this is only like 500 and some odd megabytes of data on here too, because this is a net install image. A Fedora 28 server net install, x86-64. This is a 64-bit processor, believe it or not, even though it's a Pentium. Well, I mean, there were plenty of them in the Pentium 4 days. This is not a real Pentium 4. It's Pentium 4 class. It's a Celeron processor. But this used to be a, it was like a, it's built from a kit. Like back in the day, I used to buy my kits from Tiger Direct. It's one of those kind of kits like you'd get from somewhere like that. But some company put it together and sold it as a Net Pro Max surveillance system. It had a video card for VNC connections for analog video cameras, you know, surveillance cameras or security cameras. And it was running Windows XP. And anyway, my friend Jeff, that's given me a lot of these old computers, when his company he worked for got tired of it and decided to get a new one. It quit run. It crashed and wouldn't run. And of course, I just immediately I played with it a bit and with XP a bit, and then got it. I don't know if so usually what I do, I can't pass up the challenge of fixing them, and then I don't want the old Windows operating system. I want Linux, so I reformat it usually because there's not enough space to run them both. You know, this is. I don't know what hard drive was in here. I forgot to look at my other drives. I'm going to use this one, but I have a couple more down here. While this is booting up, I'll grab them. Let's see. Yeah, I've got a Maxter 30 gig, I think. Oh, it's in the install. Oh, I didn't do what I was going to do. Yeah, 30 gig. Oh, and that's Mom's hard drive from her Fedora 14 system. I don't want to do anything to that yet. Save it until I'm done rebuilding her system. Fedora 26 with user Dawn. AS Rock. 250 gigabyte hard drive, yeah. That's the one I was thinking. So I do have a 30 gig and a 250 gig that I could use. And what's this other one? I think that's... There's one that is a... oh, one of them's an SATA. That's Mom's, okay. These are all IDEs. This one... Yeah, I think it's an IDE. Oh, Test Disk and G-Party can't see that one. It must have went bad. So, but all you have to put Fedora 28 server on it, all you have to have is 10 gig of space, and then all I need is about 3 to 5 at the most gig of space for my website. So, this should be plenty. And with my other server, I had an 80 gig hard drive, so I kind of backed up some stuff on it, my IBM server. But I don't really like doing that anyways. But now this is going to be out in the garage. I'm going to put this one back out in the garage and bring the IBM in, and then do whatever I decide to do with it. This one may end up, since it's a 64-bit, I might make this my server. The only reason I didn't is because it was too loud to have in my room and listen to it. It really makes some noise, the fans in it. IBM's real quiet. But there's a lot of things that I'd like to use in Fedora server since Fedora 23, when I first started using it, you know, like a box server setup like that, pre-boxed or whatever, that I couldn't use because it was 32-bit and it wouldn't work. Things I'd wanted to try out. But I just realized I was jabbering away looking at hard drives when I should have been catching the Grub menu. Well, I couldn't have because I did the test. I'm going to reboot it and do the test. I mean, I want to edit my boot menu and try to start up. You can actually, I don't guess I ever knew this before, but I discovered it recently, and I don't know how long they've been doing it, but you can run VNC Remote Desktop Server. It's already there. You just got to tell it to run it, and then you can do it remotely with a VNC client, and then that also makes me able to do a nice desktop video of it. So I always knew you should be able to do that. I just didn't know that it was all ready, pre-set up. So anyhow, I'm going to hit quit. Let's see, are you sure you want to quit? Yes. Now, I don't know what it'll do. I may have to hit Control-Alt-Delete to get it to reboot or something, but otherwise the whole install will be like the rest of the ones I've been doing. We can't really see what I'm doing. You'll just see the the blurries, because my camera's, well, streaming over my Wi-Fi and then out to YouTube Live. I can't do any more than 720p, so I just can't get a. Okay, let's see. Now I'll just hit an arrow key, just up, down, whatever. Just I'll hit it all the way up to the top. I'll install Fedora is what I'm going to want to run, but first, press Tab for more configuration options. I was thinking you had to hit Edit, but let's do that. Ah, here we go. Yeah, I had it on there. Okay. Oh, now you got to hit Edit, I think. That shows the line that's there. Yeah, hit E for Edit. Whoops. Now I've got to go Q-U-I-E-T-E? Oh, well, I know I deleted an E. But quiet is not Q-U-I-E-T-E, is it? But I saw myself delete it. So I was trying to make sure I want to put one space and then add another. Do you know what? inst VLC? No, VNC. That's all it is, I think. inst VNC. If that's wrong, well, I'll go look it up on the website. But I think I just remembered that. I remembered it was real simple, and I saw in this line inst dot and stage 2, you know, so and so, and that reminded me. I still think quiet does not have an E on the Q-U-I-E-T, not Q-I-E-T-E. Maybe, oh, I am right. I put that E on there by accident. Okay, Q-I-E-T space INST. I remember it caught my eye, and INST sounds like install, right? Okay, VNC, not VLC media player, but VNC for remote desktop. Okay, now hit enter. I think that'll make it boot like that. I used to do, you know, mess around with the Grub boot menu. That's changing the command in the Grub boot menu. Now, if it comes up and gives me an IP address and gives me the indication that I'm serving up VNC, then I did it right. We'll see. Anaconda requiring network for VNC. Dracoot. IO error for the dev SR1, which is because there's nothing in the DVD drive. Okay, and if this works, you don't know how exciting it is to me to remember even the simplest of commands. My memory is so terrible. But it is booting. It did not hang it up or anything. So I believe it will. I'm going to wait until it gets to that point before I switch off of it or anything, go back to my other machine. And it should be the same IP address that it had the last time I had it running, because usually my router does that until, at least for the same day. I think, you know, it holds it reserves that, automatically reserves that IP address for that same machine. I want to, once I get it all done, I'll definitely set it to the same one. Okay, installer, one moment. Anaconda at the bottom, it says Anaconda main root so and so. It's so small I can't really see it. Switch tab, Alt tab, help F1. Oh, okay. Alt tab if I wanted to change any views or anything. Installation, log file, shell. think there's two ways you can do the VNC. One of them, it kind of, what I gathered, there's one I just did, it kind of starts the installer up and then it waits for you to connect to it. Starting VNC. Okay. It's now running. Oh, how cool. VNC server running with no password. Yeah, you can put a password in there if you type in more commands and everything. Okay, warning, VNC server running with no password. If you would like to secure the server, do this. I don't think it's quite done yet. Let's see. Wait. Please manually connect your VNC client. Oh, there it is. 192.168. I won't read off the IP address this time. Port 1. It's not the normal ports. At least that's the way it shows it to be there. Write myself some little notes there. Yeah, I think it's going to wait there for me. And the instructions, it said 59 instead of 5900, 5901, something like that. Okay, so let me make sure everything is working on my stream. I mean, it looks, I can see the preview, but I don't see the. Yeah, I want to make sure my sound is working and everything. Okay. Things don't usually go this well. It's scary. If it's that easy, I will do it all the time. Okay, now. And they recommend that you use Tiger VNC. Check. I'm just going to close that now that I see that my file's being made as it should be. And recommend that you use Tiger VNC, and that's what I'll use. You can use others, but yeah, I was connected to it for regular remote desktop before. Let me see if I can just add a port, or you have to. I think I should be able to just put ... and the port, and it said 1, so let's try that first. Yep, it's already typed in there. Look at that. That is so beautiful. Okay. Now, I don't see that on my preview yet, but oh, there it is. Okay. This is what I tried to think up without doing a lot of research. I tried to think up how could I do this for the last 2-3 years. I also forgot about it a lot. Usually forgot until the moment I wanted to use it. So this is Fedora 28. Doesn't tell you that it's server on there. It doesn't look like, yeah, it does right there on the bottom left, server. So English for me, United States. Click continue. It'll be a little bit sluggish, I imagine, because, well, that's the installer usually is anyway, but it will be a little sluggish because it's on remote desktop. The machine's not real, it's only a single core. It is a 2.8 gigahertz, but it's a single core. But assuming that it works and responds, it's taking a long time. Well, that first click sometimes can anyway, so I'm not going to keep clicking it. You have to do that in installers. Be a little more patient than you might think you need to be. There you go. Finally happened. I've just noticed that it's like that a lot. Okay, America, Chicago, that is my time zone. It's gotten pretty good at doing that. Now, I'm using the net install, so it's checking right now. Installation source, software. Okay, now that's all there. Software selection. Destination. I'm going to go into the destination and get the hard drive all picked the way it should be. Let's see. I do have to make additional space because it's got Fedora 21 on it. I tried that Blivet GUI once and it didn't work very well. It's been a while. Well, it's been back quite a few months now, but it didn't work well for me last time. Yeah, 1.49 megabytes free. That won't do. Okay. See, this is not usable space here, 19.01 gigabytes. So, I'm going to say automatic, and if it looks like it ain't going to work right, the thing is, it's not going to tell me, I don't think, what it's going to do. It's just going to do it. But I think I will just do that because it's way easier than trying to alter everything. And since this is just for a server, normally I would want, the reason I'm thinking about it is because normally they will make, when you have a small hard drive, the Fedora Anaconda installer will make a pretty good size root partition, which is only for the operating system and its apps, your apps and stuff like that. And then you won't have much space for your user, which so you have to pay attention to that. Like when I installed Fedora 21 on here, I had to customize it. But I just want a server, so really I'm not going to be adding a bunch of apps or anything. So I would actually want the most space on that. Encrypt my data. I haven't been doing that because then you can't get to your data when something breaks. I think I'll leave it like that for now. Well, I mean this time as well, not for now. Well, I'm not going to go back and do it again, most likely. Only thing about when it is encrypted, then you can't get hit by an encryption malware, but it's not, near as prevalent of that kind of thing happening on a Linux system anyway. So far, I've never been hit by anything like that. Doesn't mean it can't happen. All right. When I hit done, that done button is up there at the top left. It always, okay, now it's going to, okay, it's showing you what it's going to do. Oh, because I'm going to reclaim space. I'm getting to have trouble talking again with my throat. Okay, you can remove existing systems, no longer needed. We'll permanently delete them. There's also space available. Okay, so and so. You have to read that for yourself because I just can't. Okay, but you can hit delete all. Okay. Now then, reclaim space. So everything that's on there is gone. Make sure you're on the drive you want. If you have more than one drive, you better make darn sure. Or if you're dividing, like say if you had, for a server, you wouldn't want to do that. But like if you were going to dual boot, then you don't want to delete your Windows if you're going to keep it. So you got to really pay attention in here. And this part right here is pretty easy now. It works well. I didn't used to have all that working so nicely before. I used to have to always use gparted. Okay, now it's saying, see, that's it. It doesn't give you the details about what, and there used to be a button you could click to say, show me before you do it, but I do not see that anymore. Okay, so before I forget, I want to change my host name to what I want. See, it's localhost.local domain. I want Bishop Co. BISHOPCO.BISHOPCO. That represents my website. If I was going to set up a complete, I want to learn how to set it up. Well, I'm going to go into that, but well, how can I go in? Hit apply. Now I think I still have to hit done. I'm going to do the simplest thing right now. I won't go into all those things I'd like to do, but anyway, BISHOPCO.local domain. Okay. Of course, you can make that. If you're doing it .local domain, you can make it whatever you want. Now, if I was setting it up to be the DNS server, I'd like to learn how to set up a DNS server so that I don't have to use in my previous video I was showing what I've been using for all these years, a dynamic DNS forwarding service. I wouldn't have to use that, but I haven't learned how to do that yet. But that's why it needs to be 64-bit, 32-bit. It doesn't work in 32-bit. It doesn't run in 32-bit. Okay, Source, closest mirror. Okay, I don't have to change that. Time and date. Language, English, United States. Keyboard, English, US. Software selection. Now, if you don't do that, and you see now when you're doing the net install, there are options, and that's one thing I like about it. Okay, Fedora Server Edition is the default. Custom operating system, so you can completely change. You could do workstation from with this, even though it's server installer, you can still do a workstation. Cloud server, KD Plasma, and I messed around with this before. If you select one of these desktops, you don't get a server anymore. You just get a plain desktop system with whichever desktop you select. At least that's the way it was. The last in Fedora 23. I haven't done it again since then. So I want server, so I'm not changing that. But what I do, and I don't want Ansible. I tried to learn Ansible. It's such a cool thing, but it's so complicated. I just couldn't wrap my head around all those files you had to edit because my memory's so bad these days. Is why. I used to could do that kind of stuff. ARM tools, container management. That was something I wanted to get into, and I think I installed something. I don't remember what it was last time, and it installed, but it couldn't run on the IBM. That's 32-bit. Directory server, DNS name server. Yeah, this is it right here. This is the one. I'm going to try installing it. And I may get myself in trouble, but I'm going to try it. Then I might not have to use that. I'm afraid that's all right. I'll try it. I'm domain membership. That is not what I thought it was. I don't completely understand that. Free IPA server, FTP server. I used to always put FTP servers on all my systems, but with the constant attacks on them, I quit putting them on my servers. And I keep debating about that. If it's not going to have a monitor and it's going to be hard to, I need to be able to remotely connect to it. How am I going to copy my website to it, right? Without SFTP or, see, I don't want it to serve out to the internet just to me on my local network, which you can set that up inside of there. But what I can do is plug in a USB device into this machine and copy the files over that way. That's what I was. Let me leave that unchecked for now. You know what? I should probably not try. Well, no. Yeah, this one, I can't do it on the IBM. So I'm going to try the DNS name server again and see if it'll work. FTP, one thing, even if they never broke into mine, but they kept trying. They had scripts, kept hitting my system. And it's using up your bandwidth, So if you just don't have one at all, and it still happens sometimes, that you can still see a lot of, I can kind of tell when it's, well, you can look in the logs, but I can tell when it's happening because I use these monitoring websites that will ping your server every so often to see if it's online. And if I start getting a bunch of, I haven't quite, sometimes I get a rash of them, like 20 of them in a day, and it says it's down for like a minute. But a lot of times I'll actually go to it and it's there. So I haven't quite figured out if I'm getting too much traffic. I thought it was worrying me, but I decided it wasn't getting too much traffic. It's not a DOS attack, in other words. Or are those scripts hitting you so much that it's like a DOS attack. Anyway, that's another reason why I can just turn off the FTP to the web and only do it locally. But there is a remote management system that's normally installed. It was a Fedora 23 server that I can turn that on and off with without having graphic user interface. You can do it in the web browser from another machine. So let's see. Once you get it installed, you can always turn it off even if it's installed. You just tell it don't run when the machine boots. But if you don't install it now, be a real pain to install it. Okay, so I'm going to install it. See, that's a lot to think about. load balancer, mail server. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to do any. I've been for years. I've been wanting to get back. I used to have dynamic websites on my GoDaddy. When I used GoDaddy servers instead of my own, but it was easy, click, 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 and get it all installed. I still had a lot to learn to be able to administrate a dynamic website, but the updates were automatic. Well, but with Fedora, that's going to be automatic anyway. So if I got them up and running, then anyway, you would need a SQL database, some sort of SQL, which I think the MariaDB would be the one SQL database that they would have for you, open source one to use here. Printing support. I don't want it to be a print server. I'm not going to plug a printer into it out in the garage, okay. And I got to remember I don't have a huge amount of space on the drive. Well, these like FTP server is tiny, tiny, tiny. But anyway, the DNS server, I don't know. I don't know if there'll be enough in that Cockpit. That's what the app's called, Cockpit. If Cockpit can, I know there's stuff in there to turn it on and off and stuff, and that's all I really remember. Okay, and then network server. Yeah, DHCP, no, I don't want none of that. My DHCP server is my router. See, DHCP? Yeah, DHCP. Okay, and printing support, hardware support for server systems. No, I don't have a real server. This is just a standard desktop machine. Windows file server, no, that's too dangerous, too easy to break into. Not on my web server, anyway. I don't really use SMB, Samba. I don't even really use that. I don't even have a running Windows system right now, so I don't. I have a Windows virtual machine that I haven't even got up and running on this machine that I'm recording from here. Oh, there's the other one, PostgreSQL, headless virtualization. Okay. Oh no, I don't want the virtualization. That's where you could run virtual machines in there. This machine couldn't handle that. Oops, basic web server. Well, I guess I'm gonna. That clicked when I just clicked on it, but yeah, I do want that. I guess you do have to do that. I can't remember. Web server. That's what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. If I duplicate, I don't think that's gonna duplicate anything. 3D printing, administrative tools. That would be good. Okay. That jumped on me. Jumped down. Oh, you don't have to click right on the check. You can just click on it. Audio production. Authoring and publishing. See, there's a lot of that stuff would only work if you have a graphic user interface. Now these, oh, that's graphic. Tool for systems such as managing user accounts and configuring system hardware. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to leave that anyway. They're not going to be huge apps. I may end up having to go back and install a desktop, do it in the command line. There's that Cockpit has a terminal. You can do a remote terminal, or you can do it right on the machine. But anyway, I love to have everything that I might possibly want on every machine, but this one don't have space. So those administration tools are some things that I'm used to using that you can always actually, some things even without a desktop, you can start them in the terminal and they will be graphic apps, and they'll open up and work sometimes, some of them. So we'll see. Audio, authoring and publishing. Okay, now I put on like the HTML editors and stuff. It doesn't. I never do that on my server. I do it on my main machine. Books and guides. Those can be kind of big, I think, so I won't do that. C, development, cloud infrastructure, cloud management, Compez. Nope, that's desktop effects. Development tools, design suite. Yeah, development tools. Eclipse, development environments, editors. Yeah, Emacs and Vi. You're going to have something. It'll probably have like a couple of regular graphic editors too. I'll go back and look over it again. Okay. Educational. See, that's one thing cool about using this. This could really, unless you're in a hurry, real big hurry, because it does take longer to download what you're installing, this is really the coolest way to set up the system exactly the way you want it. Pick what desktop you want on the left if you're just doing a regular system, and then over here on the right, pick all the software you want. Because otherwise you just get the basic stuff that comes with, you know, Fedora, whatever Fedora spin or whatever remix you use, or just straight Fedora, you know. Okay, electronic lab, engineering, games, headless management. This time I'm going to put that on there. I was always scared of that because, you know, I'm afraid somebody will be able to log in from the internet. But the Fedora server is really set up well for security. I mean, these people, well, they're run by Red Hat, and Red Hat is like one of the biggest. You know, when you're on the internet, you're going to be running. You're going to be talking to Red Hat servers, so that are running Red Hat. I mean, so yeah, LibreOffice. No, not. I won't do all. I mean, a lot of this I could do easily later if I need it. The things that I want to have on there and have it put on here easily like this by just clicking something. Yeah, I did this before. You made applications, and then yeah, you can click away on all this and install it, but you won't be able to. You know, there's no graphic user interface unless you install one. That's what I did. I ended up on my Fedora 23. I installed a bunch of this stuff, and then it was not usable. Like I said, there is a way. There's a way to set up in your logon to log straight out, like a Kdenlive, my favorite video editor. I found out how to do that, and I could. Of an old machine, I wanted to my old Pentium 4, regular Pentium 4. I wanted to edit video on it, because I had a real good sound card, and well, that way I could let it run, you know, for 3 days if I needed to render a video. And anyway, I would have it boot up into Kdenlive only, no desktop behind it. I think it's still that way. I think you can still do that. That's just one of the options. It's like another desktop option. There was a few things that didn't work perfectly because, you know, or didn't look perfect, but they worked okay. Anyway, going into too much stuff. Medical applications, tool chain for Milky Mist. I don't never have figured out what Milky Mist is. What it says, Milky Mist, Office and Productivity, Python Classroom, Python Science, Robotics, RPM Development Tools. Now, see, you think you might not need that, but RPM Build. Now, if you're going to install from an RPM, generally, you probably won't do that straight from an RPM, unless you're, well, you might, but the number one thing that I would used to do was installing the proprietary video drivers. I don't do that anymore because I don't need 3D. I don't play games hardly ever. I have a few that I like, but I never play them. Security Lab, that's really cool, but most of it's command line tools that are just beyond my knowledge and memory to remember the commands to run that stuff. Sound and video. Okay, so I won't do that. System tools. So it's just a client for connecting SMB shares, tools, monitoring network traffic. I'm going to do that one. Text-based internet. You could use that from the command line. So if you really needed to kind of get on a the text-based web browser, window managers that aren't part of a larger desktop environment. That might make these work. Like I was saying, if you just typed their name in the command line, like whatever it was, you know, like. Can't think of anything right now. LeafPad or something, not LeafPad, but that's Windows, I think. But now let's go back to the top and go down again. Ansible node, ARM tools, container management, directory server. You know, DNS. And I may be missing something to make the DNS. Maybe not though. Package group allows you to run a DNS name server. Still haven't quite. It's real complicated, and I've read about it on and off for years. I tried to set it up the last time, and I didn't. I couldn't even run the app. So I'm gonna install it. It didn't hurt anything last time. I think what I ended up having to do is go in there and tell it to not boot up with the system because it wasn't going to work. DP, yeah, I think I'll do that because otherwise I can't even check on the machine from in here. I have to go out there, plug it up to a monitor, and muck around in the command line. And with the SFTP, you can look through the file system. You can copy your, like if you edit your website, you can just FTP it in there, override it and everything, the old files or whatever. Mail server, MariaDB. I'm not going to go into any dynamic websites right now. Mine is straight HTML and a couple of after HTML5 came out, I had one of my editing apps that would actually convert your whole. Ended up using it to convert my whole sites, all my websites to HTML5, and so. Even though I started with like 1.1 or something way back in 1998, 99, when I first started. Basic web server. I guess if you didn't put that in there, you wouldn't actually have your web server. You just have a server edition, I guess. I'm not quite sure. But it won't hurt. I know it doesn't hurt to have it in there. Pretty sure I remember that. If you don't, you might not have anything to. All I want is just a Apache web server, HTTPD running, and then I put my files in the right directories and they work. My HTML website works. Authoring books and guides. I don't think I need those. Both my tools. GCC automake. Oh. Always. Some of this stuff is hard to install manually, like if you get everything you need to get automake to work. But I'm not planning on going and installing, like on my regular desktop's the one where I install things that are maybe don't even have an RPM sometimes. So I don't think I need that one. Do I? No, I don't think so. Maybe I do. Okay. Just in case. I don't think it will hurt. Okay. Cloud. I don't need any of that. Editors, Educational Electronics Lab, not on here. This is the most complete, comprehensive way that you could set up your system the way you want it, even if you weren't doing a server. And I always forget they don't really advertise that, like where you go to download the ISO files. Engineering, scientific, headless management. I'm going to do it on this one this time, and if I end up with any trouble, I will just reformat it again. This will be the first time I've ever tried running my server without a graphic user interface, a desktop. So I want to make sure I have the tools I need to set it up and run it, administrate it. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I added one thing to it, and I was listening back to make sure my stream's still working. Okay, so the done is not at the bottom right like you would expect. It's up at the top left. So hit done. Okay, now hopefully, now I don't think that'll be, filling it up the drive. I don't believe. That's one cool thing about Linux is it's a software. Most of it is pretty small. It doesn't take up a lot of space. You do have to watch that when you got a small drive. But since I'm not doing a bunch of graphic user apps, then it should be fine. There are a few that are graphic apps that I just selected, but okay. So I think I can leave it like that. The only thing that worries me is that right there, but I remember from before I tried to get to see how it was going to partition it, and I couldn't. It wouldn't show me. So I'm going to say begin installation. Okay, now, and in the meantime, you want to make your user passwords and all that stuff. So okay. Root password. No. Yeah, I was going to say it won't show, so. Oops. Okay. And I like to have a regular user too. Well, I always do for, no, that'll be fine. I was going to say, yeah, I'd rather do it now. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I type, for full name, I type my name with a regular, properly with a capital letter, and then you'd always suggest the username to be the small, and that works out perfect. Require the password. Okay. Yeah, without the graphic user interface, this may not really be necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay. And in the meantime, it's already around 3/4 of the way. Well, it's downloading this time. The last time I was installing Fedora 28, it was 3/4 of the way installing. It was fast. But this time it's got to download everything. Oh, and it's downloading... it's downloaded. Okay, so it's got 544.49 megabytes to download, and it's 72% done. Of course, it helps to have a fast connection as well. I'm getting about 130 megabits now. We recently got upgraded to, well, they say you could get 200, but I haven't seen it. But they also wanted you to get a new modem, said I need a new modem, and I got it, but I haven't installed it yet. But I don't think it's going to make any difference, because it turned out they thought I had an older modem than what I had. But I still need to do that. Now, this is very awesome. I can't believe I never figured this VNC Remote Desktop setup before. I didn't know it was there, and it was already in the installer, and that it was so easy to do. I mean, I actually remembered the command to type in there and how to do it, and did it. So see, I'm installing remotely. Right now I'm installing remotely, and hopefully I'll be able to manage it remotely okay. And it'll be out in the garage. It won't be bothering me. And I never put them in the garage before for two reasons. One, because I was afraid the heat would kill them in the summer. And I finally found out. I finally found out that if you just keep the air moving, you should be okay. And I did. It was 100 through 105. Let's see. I think there were some days where 108 this summer, and that machine didn't miss a beat. The IBM out there with fans on it. Had a ceiling fan and a big old, not a box fan, but a circle fan, about a 20-inch blade, going right at the server and the router. And that's the other thing. I'm using a wireless router out there to repeat my Wi-Fi signal. And then the wired machines are plugged into the router, by Ethernet cable. And that router's the old Linksys, the one everybody likes to hack, but it's getting really old. One of its wired ports is dead, and the Wi-Fi doesn't work like it used to. It used to always do its full 54 megabits, but now it won't do more than 25 max. It generally stays around 15 to 20. And it may not be, that might not be the machine, but it may be all the other wireless interference around with newer and more powerful routers these days. I finally figured out, I was running all my wireless routers as wireless. I finally realized they're fighting each other after several years of doing that. So my new D-Link is the only wireless router I have turned on Wi-Fi. The rest, they just turn off the Wi-Fi and use the wired, except for that one. It's a repeater for the D-Link. And my TP-Link, which would be better than that Linksys, I would have it out there, but I need those 4 wired ports that it has. So if I'd get me a switch, a nice big switch, I need like an 8 or 10 port switch. Then I could just plug it into my D-Link, and then I could use that TP-Link. I'd have to put DDWRT on it. There is a version that'll run on it. I put DDWRT on the Linksys. After all those years, it was my main router for years and years, and I just couldn't take it out of production, as they say. I would be down without it, So it was the only one that would work with my server was my problem. Not so much my whole, internet and everything, but. So now I'm running, let's see, D-Link, TP-Link, and an old TrendNet, and the D-Link's the only one that I'm running the Wi-Fi on. The rest, they're all wireless. And then the Linksys WGR45, T45, whatever it is out in the garage running as a wireless repeater. But I still haven't put DDWRT on the TP-Link yet. I'm looking through my notes on this machine while it's, I just figured, I know it's, I don't know, I thought it was going to be done pretty quick, but I figured I'd leave it like that, and so we wouldn't miss it, because if I switch off and start doing other stuff, then we'll miss when it's done. Not that that's the biggest thing in the world, but this is the first time I've got to actually show a nice, clear, video image of an installation ever. I've always had to do it with the camera because I didn't know how to do this. I think they've had it in there probably all along. I'm not sure. Maybe they just put it in there recently. I just never saw it before. Maybe they did do it recently because it wasn't hard to find. I just found it in the general in how to install stuff. I was just skimming through it. But okay, so Oh, I'm still reading my note, and I'm starting to. I'm gonna note that it's. Getting myself confused here. Trying to figure out what's the best way to. I'm trying to just notate my notes so I don't have to rewrite them. And yeah. Mark through something. Oh, no, it doesn't work. Okay. Fedora 28 server. There. Okay. Yeah, it's taking a little longer than I thought. Okay. So, rather than keep staring at this, of course, I was mostly looking at my notes. So it looks like, yeah, it's installing. Okay, 497 of 1002. So yeah, it's about halfway through installing apps. Not that that means anything time-wise, but gives you some idea. It's pretty, it's already 500 of 1002 now. But yeah, I think I'll stay on the remote desktop view. And I'm trying to think of what else I could show, like on the website and about installing. I'll go to the Fedora website and I'll show you. Since my previous video is where I, burned or wrote the USB stick. Well, with Fedora Media Writer, that's what I did. Let's see. Installing using VNC. Let's see. Let's go there. It's the one that's showing up. That's just what I just followed, installing using VNC. This is in the installation guide. Right, see, you can click on the links on the left to get to certain areas. There's the beginning of the installation guide. And it's kind of divided. It's different now than the way it was before. Downloading Fedora. And this is at the docs.fedoraproject.org. But if you just go to, well, you can go to whichever, this where this is. I don't remember the name of the, I always forget the name of the main site, the domain name. But here's something about the processors that are supported. Is this what they're supported, or is it just? Yeah, it's listing a bunch of them. I really want to get me a real server, and I'm seeing that, yeah, like Xeon processors, that's what you see a lot of. and AMD. So yeah, it's going to run on them. That's what I thought it would, but I wasn't 100% sure. So live image, DVD image, net install image. That's the one I'm using. ARM, it'll run on your Raspberry Pis, and it'll run on a phone processor. If you have a phone that you can, you know, figure out how to access and flash it, you know. And I kind of mess around with cloud stuff, but there's not much of it that's really much use to me. I'm just really just used, you know, want to use the only two things I'd really be interested in would be if I wanted to set up my web server, what I'm doing now, or a backup server from all my files. But I usually, right now, I'm just using a USB drive, a big, you know, 5 terabyte, 4.5 terabyte actually USB drive. Automating the installation, boot options, and as far as finding the, let's go see, it's still working away. As far as finding the, so if I go to, I have, you know, when I find stuff, of course, I put it in my bookmarks. Fedora project. Okay, so hardware overview. For some reason, since I saved that link, they've already changed the URL, but it redirects. So the hardware overview, you've got to have a 1 gigahertz or faster processor, at least 1 gig of memory. I've got 2.8 gigahertz, 2 gig of memory, and a 20 gig hard drive. So that should be just enough for. I hope I didn't put too much on there, but probably not. I'll probably end up using up about, I'm going to say around 12 or 13 gig of space, maybe not even that much, and then I'll still have enough for my 3-4 gig of data for my website. And then if you don't have, these are just pretty common, your graphics hardware. It's got a real video card in it. And I can't remember if it's an NVIDIA or Radeon. It's one of those, one or the other. It should be, you know, I didn't go into, well, I booted to it, find it didn't give any trouble, you know, the installer, so I didn't worry about it. It should be fine. And then choosing a desktop environment. Now, this is in general for Fedora 28, not just for the server, these instructions. And I said that I mentioned that. I like to mention that. Once I discovered these commands, there's a whole article I found that told you how to use them. The group list, vhidden, and all this stuff. I used those and made me some install scripts that I use on my system that I'm running right now. This Fedora 28 on my Lenovo i5 quad core with 4 gig of RAM. Fastest thing I got, and that's why I want to get a server, because for like a whole lot less money, I could get less money than a desktop or our laptop. I could get a server with like 2 quad cores or 2 6-core processors, and 25, 64, 128 gig of RAM, and just stuff that I've only ever dreamed of. Now I get them used, of course, and that's what I'd like to do. But can't run that in here; it's too loud, and too much heat. But until I discovered this year that those machines actually can just survive in the garage. But really, it's not too feasible to run big fans like I did for long, years. I mean, now it's cool, so I turn the fans off. And in the winter, I could have trouble getting too cold out there, I'm going to run a heater. Well, we do run a heater out there to keep the water pots from freezing, but that's a long way. That's up by the washer, complete other end of the garage. So, and then here's the commands that I don't know if they would work. They'd be great, but the last time on Fedora 23, that wasn't enough. I had to do a lot more than just run those commands to get the graphic user interface up and working. But if you could just say, I wouldn't do mate, I'd do XFCE, but that this right here will show you what's available. It'll give you those commands. For instance, that right there, like if you wanted to install, let's look and see. Yeah, it's still going. It's 698 and 700. So let's say I wanted to install. I wanted to know. I'm gonna paste that command in there. Let's say I wanted to know just the group, the hidden group list for grep desktop. So that'll just bring up the desktop environments and and it'll give you the commands to install them. It'll be pretty cool. That'll tell me all the available ones. It's thinking there, and see, I'm not installing anything or anything. I'm just getting a list, so it doesn't need to be root or anything. I thought it'd been faster than that, but let's go back over here for a minute. I'd like to be there when it gets to the end and see what it shows. I'd like to get it on video. Oops. Working away. Taking more time than I thought. I don't want to give this machine too much to do. I'm recording video and running a remote desktop and all that stuff. Let's see what we got going. Everything looks fine. But I go ahead and close the command line here as soon as I get done with that command and not run more stuff like that. Oh, come on. Can't believe it's taking that long. There must be a lot more information to bring back than I realized. To search through or whatever. Because when I ran just DNF group list v hidden without any switches on the end, and it was pretty fast. There we go. Finally. So LXDE, LXQ, cinnamon mate, sugar, XFCE. That would be the one I would put on my server. So you have to, let's see, XFCE, just environment. That's not the command. And then there's some other things like guest and let's see. I'd have to go back through all. That would not be straight up your command though, right here with the one I've highlighted. You would have to have. You'd have to kind of figure it out. See, DNF install at, but it wouldn't be. I don't think you can just. You might be able to just change it to. No, see, KDE is different. So you'd have to change it to whatever would work for XFCE. For one thing, you don't. Oh yeah, you might be able to just change it up so that this part in the parentheses. Yeah, I bet that would work. I have it in my scripts figured out. So I was going to save that as a text file, but I don't think I'll bother. It's not going to be that much use. Well, yeah, it will. Let's see. Can't do save output as. And no, let's don't because I don't want to overwork the machine. Okay, so 880. So anyway, that's very helpful. And downloading is the other thing. Now you can get it. I'll go ahead and show on the website where you would download it, where I'd usually, let's see. I can't look through long lists well at all. There we go. Get Fedora. There. So let's go to Get Fedora. That would be the getfedora.org. Now that's the main page. And if you just want the regular old Genome 3 desktop, you get that one, which I don't like, so I don't get that. Automatic's a new one to do with servers and stuff. Atomic, I always thought it said automatic. And that's the regular server, what I'm doing. So if you clicked on it, it would take you to the basic stuff. I tell you how great it is, and it is, but it doesn't take you right to the way they have this stuff organized is hard to find. See, download, okay, download Fedora server. I think that's where no, this is the page. I don't remember how I found it, but other downloads, net install. That's the one I have right there. That's the one I'm using. There's a raw and a DVD ISO. If you don't have you don't want to be spending time downloading during your installation, you could do the DVD. Somewhere, and I always have trouble finding it again, there is 32-bit versions as well. And let's see, alternative downloads. Let's see what that is. This could be it. It just says Fedora server though, 64-bit. BitTorrents, different architecture, cloud-based, everything, testing, rawhide. This kind of seems like, oh, there we go. 32-bit right there. That's the 32-bit. And I don't know why it's that way. I mean, these show up really well, and this one is grayed out, but I think I already downloaded it, so I'm not going to click on it again. But yeah, if you have a 32-bit system, 992, we're getting closer, then that would be where to go. And then you need to verify your download image if you want. First time you get it, if you're going to download them, like I'm talking about, like this. This tells you how to do it. There's the commands. It's not hard if you just copy and paste the commands. Follow it right down the way. And do it from within. Get into the folder. Get your terminal opened up into the folder that these are saved in, and then it'll find them and check them for you, all of them, and all of them that you have. I mean, it'll show a lot of error. Can't find them if they're not there. Okay, configuring kernel core. So it's done installing now. It's configuring the kernel. I think it might have started over. See, it's not. It's further away from the end than it was, I think. Well, I don't know. But genome boxes. Download an OS with genome boxes. That's an article in the Fedora man. That's pretty cool to learn about Fedora if you want to learn about it. This is not going to be that same article. This is just I think, yeah, no, that is it. And that's one of their newer things, and I've forgotten what it's all about. But I think it's supposed to be an easier way to. I think this is. Oh yeah, this is. Create a Red Hat Enterprise virtual machine. So they're letting you play with Red Hat Enterprise stuff for free now. So if you want to get into that, like if you had a real server, I might try that on a real server. But if Fedora, which I'm so used to, and it's all completely free, with no catches or anything, I'll probably just stick with that. But it would be interesting when my brain was more clear and I could learn more years ago. I would try everything. I wanted to learn about everything all the time, Let's get back on that. Let's close that. That too. I can always open Firefox back up if I change my mind. But I remember once it gets, you think it's going to be a while, and all of a sudden, boom, it's finished. And I always miss the end because I'm off doing other stuff. And I suppose I could try to open up a window. I might do that at this time. Usually I don't like doing that, but I could open up like a small window and keep it up here. Let's see. I can't really read things in small spaces very well. If I have to page back and forth, it drives me nuts. What I can do, though, is try to do it this way. Let's see. Whoa. If I don't mess things up here. Yeah, now we can see what's going on. Go back to where we were. Oh, that's not really what I was wanting to do anyway. Verifying your image. I'll go back there. But yeah, see, here's a good example of a lot of the different things that are available right there. And the containers, that was the word I couldn't remember. Containers. There's a lot of container stuff, and that's something I've actually wanted to learn more about. But okay, so yeah, I've already kind of went through pretty much all I can even kind of want to go through. The VNC, I didn't really. I did that from memory, but see, it tells you. You need to install a viewer if you don't already have one, and then it says, see, Tiger VNC. These are the ones that are available for Fedora, and I went ahead and used Tiger because I already have Tiger, Vinegary, KRDC. I have them. Well, I have KRFB. I don't know if I have KRDC on there. That's the viewer. That's the servers. The server admin tool is what that is. Those are KDE branded ones, you know. So I have those, and I used to use the one that, well, it used to come. All you had to do is just go to System Administration or Preferences and set it up. You can't do that anymore. So I use the KRFB now to turn it on and off when I want to do remote desktop. I used to leave it on all the time, but it is dangerous, and if somebody gets into your network, they could completely control your machine if they get, figure out your password. So it's not good to leave it running anyway. So here's a picture of, well, that's the one I used, Let's see, I was going to try to see. There it is, inst.vnc. That was what I typed, space and then inst.vnc. That's all I had to do is type that at the end of editing the Grub boot menu. That's all I had to do. So I got on the one that I wanted to use, then I hit E for edit, and then of course my keyboard, what was I doing it on remote desktop or something? Why did it, no? I guess I just held it down too long or something. Yeah, because I wasn't on remote desktop, and it put a whole bunch of E's in there, and then I got myself, well, finally I realized you don't spell, that word with an extra E on the end. So once I figured it all out, and kind of common knowledge stuff there, I just put space, inst.vnc, hit enter, and it worked. Brought up then I just had to go over here back to my main machine, the one I'm streaming from, and log into it. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Anytime I want to make a video of an installation now, I can do that. I need to I need to make sure I can find that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try putting this in the title or something. I'm going to get rid of some of those extra words that I don't want. That note, it really threw me off because I was like, oh, now I've got to go read that, There. Still not done yet. It is slower when you customize it and add more stuff in it. And of course, it's already done downloading it. But see, that added all the download time to what would have just been the install time straight from the USB stick. So now, Now I'm going to open up. Now this is what they'll recommend. I didn't ever see that, but you know, it was somewhere in there. Fedora Media Writer. I'm using XFC App Finder, even though I'm running Mate Desktop. I like the App Finder. And here's the Media Writer. Now, if you just want the regular, workstation, desktop, it always was called desktop. Everybody's always called them, the regular desktop. But anyway, they used to always call them desktop systems. So, but workstation or desktop systems, synonym in my brain anyway. Servers, what I'm installing, but I didn't use this one. I wanted to use that net install so that I could customize it the way I did. So I used pick a custom image, and I had already downloaded it. You got to download it first before you can pick a custom one, of course. And they're just on my system, Okay, now there's more down here. You just like it just drives me nuts. I hate it. Those three dots. Ever since the darn phones started with that stuff, they put it everywhere now. And I don't see that most of the time. It took me a long time to ever see that. Oh, and there's another thing. You can go up here. I just remember that. You can change to 32-bit, ARM-V, and AArch64. So, yeah, so if you change to, let's just say in 64-bit, I keep forgetting that. That's not obvious right there either, because it looks like it only goes with that. You can search right there. I'm not quite sure what you would come up with. I'll try it in a minute. But anyway, there's XFCE. These are spins. They call them spins. Really, they're just amounts to different desktops. And now they call these, they used to call these spins, I think, but they keep changing it around, and it gets confusing over the years. Labs, astronomy, design suite. Now, that's a good way to start and get a good system. Unless you're like me and you want everything, including the kitchen sink, then I ended up wanting to install stuff from every section, So that's why I built my install scripts. But it can get kind of down and dirty, and you can end up, like I've got some stuff that's not working right. And well, when I installed, ever since it was none of anything until I actually installed this manually, Oracle VirtualBox. Once I installed that, there is something that wants to boot that's not working, and I haven't fixed it yet. So it makes it take a long time, like an extra minute for my system to boot up, because it has to go through there. Actually, you know what? That's not what's slowing it down. There's something else slowing it down. I wish I could get a good video of that. I went through it. I went through all my boot logs, and it said, try running this command, try running that. And I went through, I actually made a video of it. I did everything it said. Everything said it was successful. It didn't change a thing. It still does it. But there's two things. There's, in my boot, I have two boot errors. It can't start the kernel modules for Oracle VirtualBox, and something to do, let's see, what was it? I forgot what it is now. The other thing, the other boot errors. But anyway, back to what I'm doing. Well, what I'm saying is, I was keep talking about me making install scripts. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It saves months and months of work doing it manually, but it can also get you in a little trouble sometimes. So going through and using these tools might, if you're learning them, this would probably be the way to do it. Is go by. Use a spin or a lab remix, But the spin is really nothing more than, I mean, there'll be some differences in the apps you get, but other than that, it's just really the desktops. They used to just call it Fedora KDE Desktop, Fedora, Mate Desktop, whatever. And anyway, so let's see. Okay, audio. Fedora Media Writer. Okay, custom image. Yes, I don't know what good that search would be. I'm keeping that small at this point so we can see that. this is good info, but I am kind of trying to fill time while it's installing too. Don't usually end up needing to do that. It usually takes me so long to get something done. I never have any dead air in my videos. It's just going on and on and on trying to get it done. Okay, so 32-bit. Let's say we were going to only see 32-bit stuff. Then you got Fedora Scientific and Fedora Scientific, and that's it. And a custom image. So that's all they're showing. They're giving you out of. But I do know there's a server available, so that's kind of odd, isn't it? It's all gone. I mean, there's no more to be seen there. So let's see if I have that. Oh, I don't have my USB drive plugged in. I unplugged it so that I wouldn't hurt anything, and I decided not to plug it back in when I rebooted and took my break earlier because I didn't want it to. When the Lucky Backup runs, it really just you can't run anything else but like say the web browser and Lucky Backup until it only takes like 10 minutes, maybe 20 to do the backup. Depends on what you're backing up, how much. But I didn't want that to happen, so if it's not plugged in, it won't run. But yeah, I don't think I have any 32-bit stuff. See, this is the one I'm using right now. That's why I left that in that folder so that I could do that with the drive unplugged. Now I remember. Raspberry Pi stuff. I have a Raspberry Pi though. I guess it's the Model B. It's the second one. React OS. That's a Windows NT clone, which I never really used. Well, they've been working on it for 15, 20 years, and they're just now beginning to get it kind of to where it works good. It does. They say it works. They say it works better. I think I tried it in a VirtualBox. I never did install it on anything, but I tried it in VirtualBox. I thought, well, I might be able to use that for the few Windows apps I want to run nowadays, but not having to mess with Windows and keeping up with their licenses and all that. Like my virtual machine, it won't boot right now because I guess it recognized that I had reformatted this system and I saved, the virtual machine image, but now it says, oh, you need to and it's XP Pro, and it's gonna. I mean, it is still being, believe it or not, XP. Well, I won't go into that, but anyway, you still have to, connect to the Microsoft server and make it okay. And I just didn't want to fool with it. I haven't fooled with it. So, I just found this app the other day. It's just one app in this folder. Oh, it's not going to show up because it's not an ISO. Anyway, there's an app new to me that will. We'll end up. Okay, it's doing something here. Moving pretty fast, so let's close that. There's another burning app that I saw somebody using. They were installing. Oh, they were setting up a Raspberry Pi. They were installing. I probably showed it and didn't mention it. Yeah, one of those images to turn a Raspberry Pi, plug in the Raspberry Pi camera, the one you buy to come with it, or you could use USB camera, which I have a couple of really old ones of those. Anyway, it's just for camera. It's camera server surveillance. That's moving so fast I can't read it. It's jumping back and forth. But okay, yeah, I think it's like an 800 and something of 1002, and it's verifying the installations now. So, like I said before, you think you got a long ways to go because you got that much space left at the end, and I look away, and then every time I look away and I come back and it's done. So I'm going to wait for a little bit right here. As soon as I start opening things up, it'll cover it up, even if I stay right here in this window. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's something else I can show right in the window here, in the small window. I suppose I could leave this smaller. Hadn't thought about that. Oh, installing Bootloader. It's almost done. So, yeah, that doesn't take very long. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. I think there will be a button at the bottom right once it's done. Let's just stay with it. Yeah, they give you stuff to read. They got a hot dog and I don't know what all there. I'm not quite sure what a hot dog has to do with any of this. I mean, a fedora is a hat, right? In case you're not old enough to know that. Maybe these days as many hats as these kids these days wear. Maybe they know what a fedora is. There we go. But I don't know what a hot dog has to do with any of it. Makes me hungry once in a while when I see that. Okay, generating inet frames. And I don't know for sure what those are. I never have. There's a lot of things about Fedora. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of things I've never learned about Linux that I had to learn about Windows just to keep it running. You know, like what the function of the DIL files are and this and that and the other. And I used to edit ini config files and stuff, you know, and to fix Windows 3.1 when it broke. And now, ever since I started with Linux, I got spoiled, and I don't do any more of that kind of stuff than I have to. It's funny because a lot of people, a lot of Linux people that like Linux, they love doing that, and they expect everyone else to do it. And the whole reason I loved Linux is because it freed me from having to fix broken crap all the time. And yeah, I know when you're using the newer stuff, you know, the newer software, the newer operating systems, there will be. I'm not saying there's no ever problems, but I was old until they've gone in reverse. I guess not as many developers want to spend their time writing graphic apps for Linux as they used to be. But I always was able to find a graphic user interface to do whatever I wanted to do. I hardly ever had to work in the command line until since about Fedora 23, I had to more and more and more. And I know more about it now, so it's not a big deal necessarily, other than it can get really, if it's really drawn out and lots of commands, and it just turns into an exercise in frustration because my eyes swap letters and numbers. I can't type accurately to save my life. I have to copy and paste pretty much everything. And so, if you just stick to the, but if you'll just pretty well stick to what's in the repos that you can click on it to install it, you don't have to get into any of that most of the time anyway, unless you break something pretty bad. And if you do, probably going to be best to just reformat anyway. Unless you spent months building something and it's not really broke, it's just not working right, like what I was talking about with my boot errors. You might want to spend some time reading and learning and figuring out how to fix something. It's up to you. It's free. Free software, freedom is the thing. Free to do or not, whatever you want to do. Well, you know, see there, I was all excited. I thought it was done. But it's still. I'm eating a cheese stick now. I had one and some cashews during my little break. Oh, there we go. Finally, we did it. See, I told you, it just jumped. I was eating a cheese stick. Another one. I had a couple more in case I needed them. Fedora is now successfully installed and ready for you to use. Go ahead and reboot and start using it. Now, this will be a little different because it'd be kind of cool. Let's see, what is the... I don't know what port. I just realized I don't know what port that control app is on. So I may not be able to log into it. Oh, it said reboot. Yeah. I thought it was just going to say, okay, you know, we're done. So let's, it's rebooting, I can see it. So we'll hurry up and switch our monitor over to it. I've still got the USB stick in it. So that's just going to go to that USB stick. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to have to hard shut it down and take that USB stick out. But yeah, now the fun begins. Now we got to set up a website. Okay, let me get that thing shut down. Didn't hold that button. This one got the finickiest button on it. I have to pause it again. I don't want to do it in the middle of it trying to do something. Wait till it gets back to the boot menu again. Okay. You have to like hold it hard, hold it in real. It's not like most of them. There. It tried to reboot, but then it finally gave up. Didn't act like any of my other machines. I did not ever write on there what this is. I'm going to do it right now because if I don't, I'll be liable to completely forget what I have on there. Fedora 28 server. Net install. There we go. Now, dang it, I bit my cheek a while ago. And you know how I can tell that? There's something red when I spit. Okay. There we go. Actually, I remember doing it, but I was talking and trying not to pay attention to that. What happened? Okay. Oh, now I taste blood. I mean salt. There we go. I'm going to stop it for a second. Okay, so what we got here is Fedora 4.18.14-200.fc28.x8664 28 server edition Fedora rescue blah 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 server edition. Okay, so that's generally, of course, we're not going to have a new kernel, and I guess no, I think the servers. I was going to say I might have to set up automatic updates, but I think the server edition automatically updates. That might be worth it to me just to use the server edition and just don't install a web server just to get a lot of that stuff working without having to do it. Okay, so we've got a little graphic. I'm just going to see. Well, no, I want to see the terminal output. Yeah, it's just a gray screen with 3 dots like iPhone. But anyway, now we get a. It was kind of slow to go away. We get a. Just a regular command line output of it booting, and I mean that's all it's going to do. That's all it's supposed to do. But I want to be able to connect to it to copy my website over. That's really the first thing I want. I might try running a program or something. I guess I could try running VNC. I don't think it's going to be on there, but we can see. Okay, what do we got? Tells the kernel, admin console. Oh, okay. It tells you where to go. I need to take a picture of it or write it down or do something. I think I better write it down. Net Pro Max. Okay. It's got to be admin console. I used to have cameras that could take a picture that could be readable. You know, I could just take a picture, but well, the one that would, it died. So, and I'm using the phones could do it if I got up real close, but I'm using them to make videos right now. So, admin console. Okay, HTTPS. I'm going to run out of space. 192. Of course, this is a local IP, so I know that earlier I was like, oh, I won't say that, but it was local, so it wouldn't matter. Okay, 90. Is that 90 or? Yeah. So the port that I was wondering about, there it is. Or, oh, IPv6, yeah, that long, it looks like a MAC address. Okay. That's the admin console. So I guess that's supposed to be from the local network. Okay. Now, web console. See, I really want that turned off. Oh, okay. Oddly enough, though, it's just my... And then the same port again. Oh, or the same IP that I just saw. Admin console and web console is the same if you use the IP address, or you can use your domain name. Now, Bishop Co login. Oh, 74. So. Too much work for IRQ22. What? That sounds like it's hung up and you couldn't even log in from here. Well, it's not how I wanted to anyway. Well, let's see if it's hung up or something. Let's see. Try to log in as just a regular user first and see. No, it's working. I could type. Still might have messed it up. Yep. Oh, you know what? It may not let you do that. Yeah, there it goes. No. Okay, maybe oh no, there it is. Okay. Now let's see. List. Let's see what we got. List, dear. I guess there's no directories in there. See if it'll let me go there. Yeah, there we go. I've got to go to root first. And I can list the directories. I just won't be able to do much of anything. So I CD into root directory, CD space / and then I said dir, dir, and then now I see a list of the directories. Bin boot dev etc home lib so and so so and so so and so. Let's see, where do I want to be? I think I want to go in var. Yeah, var has www. Okay. Go back to the home directory now. Let's see. There just aren't any folders in home. Let's try that anyway. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Okay. Links, L-Y-N-K. I can't remember how to spell anything. I was trying to see if I could think of a Vim. Nope, can't run Vim. You shouldn't have to be in. See, if you don't remember the names of your apps, I might have to be in home to run it as Don, you know. L-Y-N-X, links. It's not L-I-N-X. G parted. I don't know if that's on there, but that's one I remember. Nope. Okay, well, so, oh, VNC. Nope. Okay, so yeah, there's probably more you gotta add to it anyway than just. There's some things you can just type the app name, like RK, Rootkit Hunter. That's not on there. Rootkit Hunter. Web. Yeah, see, that's why I don't use the terminal for stuff. Even though a lot of it can be simple, I can't ever remember the simplest names of apps. Like I used them 5 minutes ago and I can't remember them now. I could say DNF update. Now that's something I need to do, but it may do it automatically anyway. I think I'll go ahead and try another. Yeah, let's do another reboot. Get all this junk off the screen. See what it takes to reboot it from the command line. Yep. I didn't know. Sometimes you have to say reboot now. Sometimes you got to be root. Actually, I don't really want to be logged into it like that, you know, even as a regular user. I just want to log in from FTP and copy my website over. So once that's done, I can play with it, or I can put it in the garage and let it be my server. And see, my website's not working, so well, I need to get my website copied over, see if it's going to work. It's up pretty fast. And see, it just has a gray screen with the 3 dots in the middle when you don't hit a key. I just hit an arrow key up or down to bring up the terminal command line output, the terminal window. But I don't like looking at those dots. Or in the regular Fedora, it has that little balloon blowing up, which I never used to know what that was for years. I finally found out. They've been using it ever since I started using Fedora in 2005. And I guess that's an effect or something. I thought there was something wrong when I see that, but that gray going around the black with the white letters, I think that's the way they do it in the server edition, I guess. Either that or maybe needs a better video driver than the basic one that's on there. It still said that Bishop code login. It says big long numbers, too much work for IRQ22, but then that's good because you'll always have that telling you how to log in. Now let's go try it. Okay, let's get to my desktop, and we will, assuming everything's working. Okay. And make sure my stream was still working. Yeah. Let's see, what is it? Things IP address. Pt2. Let's see if that'll go to, it's not secure. Okay, so I'm going to go to the advanced. Invalid security certificate. Okay, now I want to add an exception. Different site. That's weird. Now I could view it. Let's see. Let's try viewing it. There we go. Maybe because my IBM is named the same thing, bishopco.local domain. I bet you that's it. And I've been to it before. Why it's saying that it's see, this is making your own certificates, so it can't compare it to any of the, like you say, blank stores, blah blah blah. Okay, wrong site, but it's not the wrong site. We know that. Yay! That is Fedora. What do we call it? I already forgot. I don't know if I have. Let's go all the way to the top. That's kind of weird, but that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so now I want to be root. Can't do what I need to do unless I'm root. Okay. What are more options? Oh, connect to, okay. I'll reuse my yes. I don't want to have to keep tabbing it in over and over. It won't save it forever, just for this session. This is, well, I said the name of this a while ago and I can't think of it. But this is the admin. This is the one that comes with Fedora. You can see what's going on in it, you know, user system usage and stuff. Oh, it's checking for updates right now. You can restart it right there. I don't know what, I'll have to find out what enable persistent metrics means. You can join a domain right there. Domain. See, now if I can join bishopco.com, and I'll have to look through this a lot and see if I can do it from here, but you know, it's showing you the how hard it's working and everything. How much memory are we using? Are we really using a 1.5 gig of memory just to sit there and run? And I do want it to update, so I'll probably let it run long enough. I'll let the thing sit there and run long enough to do its first update for sure. Think about that. It shouldn't take all that long though. And see, now this is Cockpit. Cockpit is not something that you have to install. It comes with the server edition. And let's see, what do we get right there? Well, that's where we're at. Dashboard. We're at system. Okay, now still checking for updates, and I don't know, that may take a, well, it's probably going to take a while because there's probably going to be, you know, 700 megabytes of updates. There usually is anytime you install a new system. It could be more because I installed some extra apps. Okay, now too much work for RQ22. I don't know what that means. I have no clue what that means, but it's happening. And it may just be too much for that to this machine, you know. Here we go. Priority 3. Yeah, I don't know. It's a kernel oops, at least. It's not a panic, at least, but so we can go back to where we were. I don't know how. Oh, there we go. Logs. Okay, so those are the same thing. Storage. There we go. See if we can see how much space has been taken up already. I could be already a dead duck in the water already. We'll see. Okay. How we got? Okay, the root partition. Looks like we're using 2.23 of 15 gigabytes. And then of the dev SDA1 boot, 135 of 976 megabytes. And 18 gigabyte hard drive. No storage set up as a RAID. So you can set up a RAID in there. And so that's fine. That's way, how can that be that good? Maybe it's 2.23 that's free. How do you tell which one is which? The way I usually do it is just by using Crusader, you know. I won't be able to use Crusader though anymore, unless I might have to figure out how to set up those keys and stuff. But that tells you the drive. There's the optical drive, and this one's this one. Let's see if it tells you. There we go. Let's see. Still doesn't tell you what free space you got. I'm pretty sure you can see that in here. Well, I mean, you can see it right there. There we go. Create a logical volume. Yeah, you can do that from right there. Still don't know what's actually available on it. Swap space 1.9 gigabyte. Okay. It may be the opposite. It may be that I have 2.23 left, which would just scrape through the my basic website. I have to leave some stuff off that I don't really care about anyway. But that wouldn't be good. I really want to. I don't want. I mean, that would be no good. That's about the least amount of space I would want to run a system at. You got to have room for cache and everything for the system to run. That's not really enough space. If you got less than 3 gigabytes, you can't even do your daily updates and stuff, or your weekly or whatever. So maybe it may not work. Not with what I put on it. I mean, I could have left it just basic and not added anything, but that I can't do that. That's not me. But I have that 30 gig hard drive, which would be perfect. And of course, I have that 250 gigabyte hard drive if I wanted to set it up and use it like for, well, I would want a really big hard drive if I was going to do backups to it. But I don't want my web server being my personal file backup server. That's why I've always kept my web server isolated from anything important to me. And you should. But so I don't know. I'll have to figure out for sure how much space is left on it. I don't really see a way to tell. Guess if I click create a logical volume, no. 1 gigabyte. I'm not going to do it, so. Well, the maximum you could do is 1,128 megabytes. I'm not going to do it. I just wanted to see what it would tell me. What's that? 1.1 gigabyte free? Oh. Yeah. So that's even less space than I thought. Rename, delete. So you could delete your working drive, so be careful in this thing. I don't know why does that show different there than it did when I went in there. I guess that's what could be used to create a logical volume. That's all it'll allow you to use. Okay. So there's actually evidently 2.37 gigabytes free space entirely on the drive. Okay, now let's see what we got down here in the notes. There's always a lot of these odd errors that don't hurt anything, but you may or may not know what the heck they're talking about. Pretty easy to install though, isn't it? And to get up and running. I mean, you have a server machine up and running. Now, I don't have room for everything. I think I'm going to go ahead and copy over the basics of my website just to see, as like a test bed, to see if it's going to work. And I don't think my backup is messed up, and the reason why it doesn't work right, like I showed in my previous video, but I need to figure all that out. And I figured we'd start with a brand new operating system, brand new server system, the operating system, and then I'll know right quicker than messing around. Because that one that's my backup server that's running in the garage, it's running like Devane 5 or 6 or something. So, and I do remember that it kind of acted up, and it would, one time you would hit it. I thought it might be the hardware just getting old and tired, but it would, which kind of makes sense really. But it would, when you go to a page, it wouldn't load, and then go to the next time it would load. But now they just don't work, period. And getting those GoDaddy error messages is what's really throwing me off. Maybe it's just something they've decided to add to their service, like circumventing your. But that's not. See, it's not a GoDaddy server, so I've never. And ever since I stopped using their servers, I've never seen a GoDaddy error message, no matter what, on my servers. So. Really throwing me around. I'm sure somewhere on that massive website you'd find it. And I'm not the kind of call. I just can't stand calling and doing all that crap. So I'd rather go in circles and read and read and read. Okay, reactive rules. got a firewall built into it and so on by default. Let's go back to the beginning, see if it's done. Updates available. Let's see what those. Well, look, before we do that, because that may lock the whole thing up. There's probably more than I have space to install. Accounts, Don and root. That's pretty well, you know, that's it. Like, you know, I'm not set as an administrator, but I could be. I wouldn't necessarily want to be an administrator. Well, there can be, like, you could be an administrator, but not all and out root, you know. Change the password, you know, all that stuff. Let's see, root. Authorize SSH keys. Well, might be some later, but not now. Services. It's probably going to be, oh yeah, this is where you can turn things on and off, look for errors. So you're active and running. And see, all this stuff would be so complicated to figure out how to set this up. And see, there's the DNS stuff that inactive dead, so it's not running. Probably needs to be set up. Apache Server, oh, it's not set up and running either. Oh. I'm surprised. I thought it would be. Oh, you may be able to just click on it and turn it on. Yeah, start, enable, all that. I'm not going to do it right now. I just want to look through here. But you can also search, like, see, Apache HTTP server. Yeah, I think all you have to do, unless it's broken, all you have to do is just turn it on. Cockpit web service. What's this? Display manager. Yeah, not found, inactive dead. That's because I don't have a lot of that stuff installed. DNS caching server, inactive dead. DNS. So there's just a few of them. Well, there's enough. And see, I could not have that on there. If I really want to keep using this hard drive, I'd just take everything but just the basic web server off of here, really. But I imagine I'll just do it again with the other hard drive. Unless I got just enough space to get it running, then I'll leave it like it is and get it, you know, plug it in outside and then see. Oh, there's a software updates section right there too. Okay, targets. Oh, okay. I don't know where I was. I guess I was in system services. Yeah, targets. There's all and more all you need to know and more in here. But I have been able plenty of times, even I would use this from the machine itself. You can just use the web browser and go to it. Actually, you can click on it. There's like a little, you can start the app. Well, what it'll do is there's basically a link in your applications menu, and you can just start it up, and it'll open up the browser. But sockets, but it really can help you figure out what's going on. Like, say if something isn't working that you expect to work. We'll see, like my web server is not going to be working until I turn that on. I'm going to figure out how much space I got and everything first before I even turn anything on or do anything. Path. Actually see less errors in here off the bat than I did in my one that I was running for the last several years. Applications, no applications. I guess that's applications that are running. I hit reload to see what would happen. Getting hungry again. That means I'm going to have to quit. This time I won't come back because I'm tired. And I have been up since about 7 or 8 last night. It's 11:30, almost noon. So it's getting close to bedtime for me now. I'm trying to eat another cheese stick, but I can't get the darn plastic open. Don't you hate that? Okay. Now, the other fun part would be the terminal down there. Well, let's see what the update shows. It wouldn't be no use in running it if you can't update it, though. Install updates. Automatic. Oh, turn on automatic updates right there. Well, since I don't want to let this thing run forever, I think I'm not going to get done with it today. Now, I assumed that was the update, right? You know, the system updates on the first page. Are these the only updates? Just those few right there? Looks like it. Doesn't look like there's too many. Let's go in the terminal and I'll show you. Now, you can run commands in this remotely in this little terminal here. And what I want to know is, okay, updates available. You have the system tab up there. Yeah, takes you straight to that. I'm going to see if I can install them. I'm going to turn on the updates. Oh, it's got to install it first. 68.1 kilobytes. Okay, cool beans. I'm already logged in as root in this management console here, so. Or remote web management, or what you want to call it. Okay, now they're on. And that's not much, so I think I can install those. Click install. There we go. But I'm not going to be good to go for the long term. So there's your answer. Can you install Fedora 28 server and some apps that you might want on a 20 gig hard drive? Well, yes, you can. Should you? Probably not. Most definitely not, actually. Maybe if you, I mean, stuff I install, like I said, I don't believe it'll be that big. Okay. You need to restart. I think I'll wait on that because I want to see if I can log into it over SFTP. Actually, no, let's go ahead and restart it. I'm sitting here looking at it, so see, I can hit reconnect when it gets rebooted. I'll know when it's rebooted just by looking at the lights on the machine and listening to it. So yes, Virginia, you can turn a desktop into a real server. And it works great. Most of your decent, regular brand like IBM or whatever machines, they'll first server I built was in a Dell regular desktop, the kind that sets flat and you'd set the monitor on top of it. It's been sitting under my feet in the floor, still to this day, as my footstool. But it ran, and it was my server, 450 megahertz Pentium 3, for years. And until the distro that I was using, they stopped, updating it. And then I went to Fedora. I think I started with something around 21, I think. On that IBM. And then I upgraded it a couple of years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, to Fedora 23, whenever Fedora 23 came out. I told myself then I was going to upgrade it every year, but actually I was going to set it to automatically do it, but I never did. It didn't do it automatically. And there's I'm not quite sure that if it's through booting or not. There's still a little yellow light on, but maybe it's always on. I'm going to try reconnecting. It's not really blinking much anymore. Maybe it ain't through, because I see that yellow light blinking again. If you can't see the terminal window, then you don't really know. Yeah, wasn't ready yet. There it is. And of all the effort I've done to put a bunch of apps on my servers, and then I never use the apps because you don't want to bog it down and have your web server not working well for people, you know. So now apply all updates every day at 6 p.m. That would be fine. I'm going to hit check for updates just to see, but there shouldn't be any. Yep, it's up to date. Okay, so if I were in here and it said join a domain, see domain address, computer OU, domain administrator name, domain administrator. I don't think that's the same thing as, no, that's not. That's just joining a domain, like a local domain, I think. I can't just put in bishopco.com, and that the DNS server is not even running. I have to make sure it will run. I have to make sure that the web server will run. Let's see if let's see what we get. If I just go to port 80, yeah, unable to connect. So see the Apache server isn't running, just like it looked like in the settings. So let's see, where was it? Services. Applications. Oh, now it shows applications that you could install if you wanted to. Oh, I guess that came with the updates. Diagnostics, desktop configuration for a large network, collect kernel crash dumps, manage virtual machine security, enhance Linux configuration, troubleshooting, SE Linux. Well, I'm going to do that now since I don't have much space. Let's see. Where's the storage? See if it changed. If that 2. Yeah, it changed, wasn't it? I wish I'd done a screenshot of that. I think it was 2.73 or something gigabyte. Do a screenshot of it now. So yeah, this is not really going to be. I mean, I might be able to leave it this way and get me through for a while, but get me my website back online, assuming it's going to work. But services, I'll need to turn on my server stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I hadn't have did that basic web server installation, I wouldn't have had the Apache web server. So is it 2 P's in it? There, 1 P. Okay, so I won't turn it on just yet. HTTPD. So how many? Disk cleaning, yeah, disk cache cleaning, that would be good. Okay. I'll have to really look through there and find everything that needs to be turned on. But right now, I want to just make sure that it's going to, that I'm going to be able to FTP into it. I didn't see. Go ahead and open up FileZilla, but I did connect to the same IP address where it had a different operating system a while ago. Of course, now it'll have a different fingerprint. So let's see. FTP. Let's see. Inactive dead. Very secure FTP. What about SSH? Okay, the SSH server is running. Key generation is not on. Okay, that is running, so I might be able to SSH. Let's do that before, because the very secure FTP is, I may not need to start that. That might be for the internet, and I just want local. Let's find out. Let's try reconnect. Yeah, there we go. Password. Oh, yeah. Now this may throw a big error. Okay, it just asked me again because it's got a new key. I was afraid I was going to have to go edit my keys files. Okay, but it connected. I'm in home Dawn over here and over here. I want to go to var. www HTML. There we go. Now I need to go to where my website is. And I don't know why they changed it from media. See, everything used to be in media and mount. Now it's trying to rename it. Watch out in here. You can do things like that, bad things, things you don't want to do. Actually, it probably wouldn't let me do that because that needs root access, but look at there, it won't quit. There, hit escape, it quit. That's scary. That does not happen in Crusader really easily like that. Anyway, you got to go to run. They changed it several years ago now. Run media, and the media won't be there unless you have your hard drive plugged in. I don't have it plugged in. All right. So see, there's no media. There's mount, but there's nothing there. So let me plug in that hard drive. Should work out okay. Should work out okay. I don't know if I'll have to refresh that. I might have to close this and let's try just like going to a different folder. There we go. Now then, run media. Whoops, media. Can't just type in it. Yeah, there it is, media. But there's nothing in there yet. Might not have finished mounting yet. There it is. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to have... it's not showing it. Go to home, Dawn, or something. Just... I might have to close this app. Run media. trying to rename it. See what I mean? So yeah, I just now remembered it's dangerous to keep trying to use your keyboard to get around in here. You can rename stuff before by accident. Run Madam. There it is. Oh no, that's Mount. Where's Media? It went away. Okay, I'm going to disconnect, I guess. Close the application. I'm going to open up Crusader. I want to try Crusader anyway. I don't think it'll work. I'll show you what happens. And this is my favorite way to do this too, if it would work. I'll just get in there just to... This is how I've always done it. If it works, that'd be great, but it'll say SFTP 192.168. It'll say protocol not supported. Let's try FTP. Oh, I had the 22 on there. Yep. Unreachable. So the server's probably not running. Oh no, it was running. But see, yeah, it says it's unreachable as a regular FTP. Well, like I said, so I have SSH running, but not very secure FTP. Well, I don't want regular FTP running anyway. I can do what I need to do. I can do what I need to do the way I was fixing to do it there with this other app. Oddly enough, you find it by searching for FTP, but it'll do FTP, SFTP, and it'll do some other stuff. And luckily I was just on that, so when I find the reconnect button, I can't ever find it up there. There, reconnect. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we're back exactly where I was. Okay. Now, this time I'm not going to type in there so much and mess things up. And it does work better if you do that. There, media. There, Dawn. Now it's working, so I just needed to open. It won't refresh on its own. Okay, now then, back up. This is it, but I was looking. VM server. Yeah. That's really the only, I mean, I have other backups, but on this drive, that's what I've got, is that right there. www, HTML. I'm gonna try it. Really is what I'm mostly interested in. Is that right there? But I don't want that Bible folder. That is pretty big. Oh, careful there. That's not a small amount of stuff, really. Not forever, but does it show me? Well, let's just hit upload and it'll tell me how much. I may have to cancel it or something. It's going to be uploading it as it, you know, starts telling you somewhere in there. It should start. Oh, it's in bytes. Total size 704,202 bytes. Seven 04202 B. Is it YT or BIT? Yeah, I know I'm not a real computer nerd because I don't know that stuff. BYTES equals, now MB or MIB? How about spelling it out? Did I spell it wrong? All right. So 704.202 bytes is .704.202 megabytes. That is absolutely wrong. That's wrong. That must have been, well, it still stays the same. I'm going to say maybe that was how many, not the total of everything, but just the one file it was working on. But no, it's not changing. It says it's finished. How could it do that? There is, like I said, about 3 gigabytes. Unless it's not all there. But every folder I've looked in is fine. It's all there. I won't look through it with this thing. It's really sketchy doing it. Let's just see. Try to start up the server now and see. I was kind of wanting to quit. Yeah, there's files in there. Let's see. MP3. Let's go this way. It'd be easier. MP3 files. I guess there's nothing super big. There they are. See, it's my music that's mostly important. Okay, so I don't think there's any reason to just say that it didn't work. So let's close this. Now, let's still not. Well, let's see about. Let's look at the storage again. Okay. I'm pretty sure that made a little difference, but not a huge amount. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's 1 gigabyte. It's not even a gigabyte, though. Okay. Well, maybe this will be okay. Applications, services. Okay, now. Backup server, DNS caching server. Okay. HTTP. Now that one we need going. Now then, enable forcefully. Okay, enable start. Let's see if it'll start. Maybe there's something broken. I did all that without making sure whether or not that's going to work. Okay, it says it's dead. Huh. No, there it is. Activating, starting. Running. Okay, no problems. Good. Good, good, good. Okay, now that may be all I need. Let's find out. Just go right there. Nope, we're not up and running on the server yet. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and say Apache Apache Server. Just cause I want that on. Mask. Huh. Yeah, that would probably be alright. Or should I say? Leave it on mask and hit start. Sometimes what's just defaulted in is your best bet. Usually. Especially when you're in doubt. Okay. Active running. That one started up pretty quick. Okay. Still might have to restart the server, the machine altogether. We'll see. Do you have to say persistent? Oh, it's running. It says disable. Preset forcefully. Oh. Well, I'm going to leave it like it is. I think I'm okay. We'll see. Okay, now. Wait, did I mess it up? Oh, if you want to disable it, you click the button. Okay. I remember going around with that before. HTTP server active running. Disk caching after running. Now let's see if there's any more HTTP active running. Service template, that doesn't have anything you can turn on and off. One-time temporary LTS key generation service. Okay. Let's see, web service, that's it. Is that really all there is to it? Let's see, let's try. I'm tired. Client server. Roll kit server. I don't remember what that is, but it didn't really have anything to do with my website. Okay. I think roll kit. It's got to do with roles of users, I think. And they say very secure FTPD. Oh, that's not one you can turn on and off anyway. That's a template. There it is. But I don't want, I think that may turn on the web server, and I don't want that, and I didn't need it, so I'm not going to turn it on. Yeah. Okay. So let's go see if that does it. May have to reboot again. We'll see. I'm surprised that it's not working. Shouldn't have to put the port on there, but let's see. It didn't work anyway. I'm not running. Oh, that wouldn't be 80 if I did it that way, would it? Just seems to be not working. Okay, so I think that we just need to restart. Shut down and restart. That'll help me. 1 minute? No. Now. I screwed it up. Change it. 1 minute. Specific time. No delay. Just want to do it. Okay. I don't know what that other one will do. It will probably just go away. It seemed fun. I've seen Morton, the server guy, the one that's been teaching me about servers on the internet. Morton, a guy in, I always forget the name of the right name of the country, but I always remember Switzerland, but he doesn't live in Switzerland. He's Dutch. He lives close next to Switzerland. So anyway, he's a server admin guy, and he has called My Playhouse. That's his channel. He has an actual house that he plays with servers in, and besides his day job of actually working with real production servers, you know, databases and servers and stuff like that. Anyway, I've learned so much watching his videos. I've always been interested in them, but well, the number one thing was I tried to get into them back in the early 2000s because there was a bunch of them for sale cheap, but they had abysmal video, you know, graphics. Well, and I did actually see, I think I remember there was a few servers coming out with, you know, some decent graphics in them, but they were really, really expensive. Well, now those servers are old now. This is 20 years, you know, almost 18 years. And, or 15, you know, 17, 16 years, whatever. And anyway, some of they have slots that you can actually put graphics cards in, so you could use them as a desktop. But really, the more I watch his videos, the more I realize, really, you don't actually even need that. He did that, and he had some success, and some that didn't work so well. And it worked, but it wouldn't work between the physical graphics card and his virtual machines. And the more I realized, well, you know, I've done a lot of working with, you know, VirtualBox with virtual machines over the years, and if you've got lots of memory, like say if you had 192 gigabyte of memory, then you don't really need a graphics card unless you're a gamer or something, you know. And of course that's the whole. Well, he was doing it. He makes lots of videos. He even makes real movies, and he has other people that edit the movies, and they use his servers, you know, remotely. And so that's what he was going for, and that's what I was going for. That's the reason I wanted to do it, to be able to edit videos. But you don't have to use the graphics card to edit videos. It does make it faster, but if you got a server that's running 24/7, you know, and you got plenty of memory, just let the memory do it. Same thing with virtual machines. The actual RAM can give you your virtual video memory for your virtual machines. And since I don't edit videos very often, you can see. But since YouTube has let you do the live videos, that's the way to go for me, because then you're one and done. And I'm lucky to get this. You do this, you know. Get this done. So just the work itself, and try to share it. You know, it takes some extra time, but nothing like editing the videos and all that. So when this thing gets rebooted, I guess I can hit reconnect. I don't think it's. Oh, it is. Okay. Now let's go back into services. When they come up, they haven't come up yet. Yeah, there we go. Apache. Okay, it's still active and running. I'm trying to go faster than the machine can go. Server, active, running. Okay. And the disk caching, very important when you don't got much space left. Let that automatically clean. Oh, it's dead. Inactive, dead. Well, maybe that just means. Oh, it conflicts shutdown target. Stop the cleaning daemon. Preset forcibly, mask. Huh. Well, I'm going to leave it alone for now, because the only other thing I can imagine is maybe like try the preset mode. But it may, I don't know, if it says it's dead, it's not going to be doing anything. I'm going to try the preset, but I don't do forcibly then. Oh, okay. Well, hit enable. Oh, see, there you go. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to hit start again. There we go. At reboot, I guess. No. Yes. Is it gonna? It's not gonna reboot the machine, is it? It might. Is that what it does? Reboot the machine to clean it up? I don't know. I'm still not getting my website though. Did I put those in the wrong folder? You know what? I did that on what? In one of these, is there a, yeah, there's not a file browser. Is there a file browser in here? I think there was a file browser in my other one. No. If there was one, it'd be there. I think there was a basic file browser. Oh, well, let's try the terminal. Maybe I can run, let's see. What is that? I don't think it's installed on here. I mean, I can use FileZilla. I guess that's the simplest way to do it right now. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there and see what it does. That's just stopping. Oh, it's doing it. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering. If I put all those files in the wrong folder, right, 153, because I should be getting my website. Okay, so from what I remember, just starting that Apache server should have been all I needed to do. So I think that should have worked. But I can, sometimes you want it in the HTML folder, sometimes you want it, make sure there's an index HTML file in there. Yeah, there they are. Sometimes you want it, no, you don't want it there. There may be something else missing that should be running. I don't know what it is. I can't think. I rebooted the machine just to be safe. I should still just, I should at least see that index HTML file. I can even look at it, I think. This is on the right side, is in the server. Actually, I think it's my default. Let's see. View, edit. It should be over here in Firefox. There it is. This is what I should be seeing. It's that. Of course, it should have all of its images and everything because I uploaded everything. Unless can't. It has a firewall, right? Maybe I don't have the port. Maybe it needs a port open. What is that? Dashboard. Oh, okay. Maybe you got, where's the firewall? Remember the firewall? I saw it, that it was running. So maybe I've got to open, you wouldn't think you'd have to open the ports, but maybe you do to be safe, you know. Enable preset metrics. I don't know what that is. I'll wait on that. It's not very big, but unless that's causing me trouble right there, but I don't think so. Networking. 3 active rules. Firewall on, Cockpit 9090, SSH 22. Okay. Add service. Yeah, I would have to turn, probably might have to get the DNS server working. I might do that. I think I'm just going slow to look at everything, but I think what I need to do, yeah, FTP, which I don't want on the web. This is a web server, so there we go. I don't have any secure pages to view, so I'm not going to enable that right now. I'm going to hit add service. I'm screenshotting it so I'll know. There we go. Port 80. That was my problem. Let's see if that fixed it. Yep. Woohoo! Okay, now I want to go back and look and see if there's any other stuff. Oh, it doesn't show up again. Okay. If I had any reason to run everything in none of my stuff is HTTPS, so no point in opening a port you're not using. It could be a problem. You end up being a security risk. Password. The only ports I got open is SSH. I could close that if I need to, if I feel like I'm going to have trouble. It is open, and it may be open to the web. I guess I should try that on the web browser and see if what it gives me. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Because it may only work for the local network. Time server, no, I'm not. Open VPN. Pulse audio, no. Samba. This is so cool. So easy to turn things on and off that you might want to use. TFTP. Okay. So I don't want anything else right now. So now, it was a port. It was the port. It was the port. Okay. Should have known, huh? Now let's go to okay, so that page works like it should. It already has. Now let's see what this one does. Cringe. Same dadgum thing. Why? And see, it interjects a folder like it auto-generated it or something. And of course it's not there. I think that's how it does its errors. But see, down at the bottom, bishopco.com living beings. There's not supposed to be Oh, this time it went there. So that's what it does. That interjected folder does when it gets an error. But it's, you know, that little server. Well, that's this server though. That's not the one out in the garage. If it doesn't react as fast as evidently GoDaddy thinks it should, then it does that. But I don't understand that. They've started that, evidently. This one always does that, I think. And you can reload all day long and it won't. Well, now it finally went to did something, interjected a folder in there. But it's nothing, you get nothing. Now it quit. It went away again. It's either something to do with GoDaddy or Firefox. I don't know. I've never seen that before. So, there's an answer to my question. Is it my old server out in the garage? No. Is it my website? Is there something wrong in there? Well, it doesn't show to be, because I can see where it's supposed to be going down there at the bottom. Now, I haven't looked at all the links code, you know. Let's see. I forgot how you do it. Actually, I got tools that are better than just saying view source code. How do you get to those tools? Let's look at that. Okay. See, Bishop Code, there's one of them right there. Good link. Living Beings, that's the other one. I don't see any injected code in there. That, you know, nothing's been edited, changed. It looks out of place to me. There could always be some wrong links, you know. I've done a lot of editing over the years with, you know, find and replace apps and stuff. And see, I've done things like change these say HTTP, and you could change that to, well, like I could change it to the final destination bishopco.us.2. Maybe I need to do that, but I didn't have to before, so I can set some of these find and replace apps onto the folders that they're in. I guess that's how I did it last time. I was trying to remember how I did it. But, see, I don't see anything that looks suspicious. That's the thing. This one, I think, works. No, didn't work. And that's one thing. And see, this is not going... Why is the GoDaddy showing an error when this is on my local network? I'm going straight to this machine. I'm not going out on the internet to this. I'm going straight to this machine on my local network. How is that GoDaddy message getting in there? Oh, it went to bishopco.com. Okay, answer to my dumb question. The links, where are the links pointing to? They're pointing to my server on the internet. So that, yeah, those links aren't local links. Now, I thought about trying to do that. I used to do that. I used to make all my links, instead of saying bishopco.http, bishopco.com, they'd be local links. So that it would stay within that server, you know, those folders, the hierarchy of that. It couldn't go out of, where is it? HTML. It could go anywhere below HTML, but not out of it backwards, and not out on the internet, well, unless it was an internet link. And I didn't want to try to change all that because it got to where it didn't work as well. Over the years, I had a lot of trouble with that. So I started changing them to the actual address. The only one thing I noticed some links on here say. See if I can find any. View page source again. No, none of them. There's not any. Bishopco.us.2. I saw some that I thought said that. Yeah, I really didn't think I had done that on purpose, but I swear I saw some. What's that? That one says 192.168.153. Okay, now that would be a local one. See how it says that would be a local link. It probably work. Yeah, it works. So maybe if I would put them all back to local links instead of reaching out to the internet. Let's go into the server. It can get confusing fast. It's one reason why I kind of got away from editing. I used to love building and editing web pages, but it wraps your mind in circles trying to realize where are you trying to get to, where are you at, where are you going from. See, that one works. See, now it says 192, so that's a local. Now, if I could edit that so that they all are like that, but see, when that number is not in the hard link. Let's see if we can view source. I was hoping I would. I mean, it'd been working, so why would I have to edit the whole this whole page or the whole website again? That's what I don't understand. There's another tool. Where is that? Tools. There we go. Web developer. There we go. Tools. There we go. Now. Okay. Now there it is, right there. Where did it go? I clicked on the link and it went to it. I just wanted to get to that link. There. Poems. How can I make it just show the link? There's that one, but that's just right how to do it. Is that one that works? Yeah, that one works. It still does the same thing. But it's showing wherever my mouse ends up instead of it's showing the background. Okay, so I was trying to see what the actual link looked like. Oh, yeah. Wait. It's not doing what I was wanting it to do. Well, there's one thing that kind of tells you. But those are the local links. And there's one that says paypal.com. You don't want to ruin that one. But storage. Spectre. So, yeah, it's harder to find than I want it to be anyway. Spect element. Oh, yeah, you can do it that way. Oh, did that get the right one? Yeah, poems. Oh, and there, yeah. TWB35. I originally built this in AOL, America Online website space that they gave you along with your accounts, and so we had like, you know, one for everybody in the family, and nobody but me wanted to use websites, so I used everybody's username. So TWB35 was another username. And so once I spent years building these sites, and then decided to move it to GoDaddy, and then from there back to my own servers over the years, I ended up keeping the exact same site structure because it was a nightmare to change it. So in straight HTML, well, even, I mean, like I said, I had some dynamic websites, but having to retype or even just copy and paste all this stuff again. I was going to do it in the dynamic website, just copy and paste all the text, but I never got to do it. So anyway, that one, see, that's how it looks. herf ... / folder index.html. That's how those kind of links look, the ones that are working. Those are local. I'd forgotten how they looked. A herf, so-and-so, so-and-so, and then the name of it afterwards. And does that one work? That one don't work. I'm actually more interested in these others. What did that one do? That's one that won't work. Okay, so let's see. Inspect element. So that one is http www.bishopco.com, and that's what I had to do on a bunch of them to get them to work. So I'm not quite sure why all that's changed. Now this one is another one that don't work. It goes to there, and that's the wrong place. It could just be, that's my bishopco.com homepage. bishopco.us.2 is where it ends up. Let's see what that one is. Inspect element. It is bishopco.com, living Binks, but it should, when it used to anyway, when you just left it as a folder like that and didn't put anything after it, if there was an index.html file in that folder, it would open it up, but it's not doing it. Instead, it's automatically redirecting back to the home page of this thing, which is dropping off that folder there, living Binks. So nothing's fixed, nothing's changed on a brand new Fedora 28. So, and my website was working, at least I thought it was. I'm gonna have to get that IBM hard drive. I think I can get the files off of it. I mean, it could be that the only good copy of my website is on that machine, but I don't think so, because I think I backed this one I'm using here. This backup was straight off of that when it was working good. Should be. I mean, let's see. I wanted to go where. Let's see if, oh, there. That should work. Okay, this is the root, the root of my website, bishopco.com, which, because of dynamic DNS and all that, it goes to bishopco.us.2, which is a real pain. It destroyed ever since I had to start doing that, it destroyed my search engine rankings. Now, if you search for donsongs.com, you can't even hardly find it. Used to, I could just put in Don Songs. Well, that Hindi guy, he started using I was on the internet doing that long before he was, even though he's older than me and a famous guy, on the internet, I was way ahead of him by years, but then he somehow kept working. His people, he got people, kept working at it, and if you search for donsongs.com, okay, it came up. Oh. Number 1. Okay, that's like it should be. But I don't know. I did change that. I said I changed it from being masked. I don't know if that helped that already. Shouldn't in one day. I don't see how. Now there's one of the other errors you get. And then it'll come and do something else the next time. And that's not an error on my side. Now there's Facebook, archive.org. I have done this before. I've just pointed donsongs.com to archive.org. Actually, not to this one, but the one that has everything on it. I have several of these. Here it is. I don't know where it is right now, but anyway, I don't remember how come I ended up with 4. Something went wrong, and I did it again, and then ended up with 4. But somewhere on here. Yeah, there it is. I point it to there, and then that shows you everything. But that's, and you can download. I mean, but that's kind of, I mean, I don't guess they care, but it certainly doesn't help rankings in my website or anything for it to go somewhere completely different like that. You know, archive.org is like they want to back up the web, you know, and this is all wonderful. Yeah, I mean, as long as you have your, you're letting people download. It was a getaway moment. That's the first song there. Yeah. Anyway, I have used that as an emergency backup. Actually, it's on my website saying if you can't get to, okay, here's the guy. That's that famous guy. But and see, he didn't used to use Dawn songs. He never used that, and then he started using it. And so, like, if you just search for Dawn songs, used to, if you'd search for Dawn songs one word, you'd always get me. Now, you get him completely and utterly. And it's because I fell off of my SEO, my search engine optimization. Well, ever since, like I said, ever since I started years ago, whenever I started running my own server, and with my dynamic DNS and having all these troubles, then so that's the IP of the server, and trying to see where do you see the IP? I don't know. Anyway, that's the IP, and I'm trying to see what links work and what don't now. Let's see. That one works, I think. Yeah, see, that one works. So I suppose it would be fixed if I would just make them all say local. That one, but see, that one went out. That one works, but it went out to, what was it? Living Beings. Yeah, it works, but it didn't go where it's supposed to. But it went to the main page. That's weird. See, that's, and that folder, Living Beings. Well, if I got FileZilla, let's look in the Living Beings folder. There it is. Index.htm and index.html and that one there. They're all there. But it's not working. Now that might just need some editing, but these others, that one works. Well, at least now I know. I can tell right here where, you know, like if that's staying on the local server, and when it goes and changes the IP up at the top, then that means it's going to the server out in the garage. Now it's on the server, going to the server out in the garage. Local. I'm just using mine. Now see, now it tried to go to the server out in the garage, but it got an error. And reloading it doesn't fix it. Well, that worked. This one, yeah, still didn't work. And I did, well, I deleted some things and rewrote, and you know, rewrote them back, and then some things I just overwrote the whole directories, you know. Anyway, everything is a new copy, you know, recopied from my backup. So, and you see, it works even you know, even though that's a 500 megahertz Pentium 3, it still responds pretty quickly. Of course, it still may not be really going out into the internet when it goes there. It may be, except for the ones that don't work, which some of them worked. I was thinking, or only no, that one works pretty quickly. Back to the main page. So I'm tired, I'm starving now, so I'm gonna have to eat. So there we go. I mean, so everything went well for installing Fedora 28 server. It didn't go at all for fixing my problem. There you go. There's a in-depth look at installing Fedora 28 server and the basic getting started of administrating it, getting Apache web server up and going. Just start the Apache. Make sure you install it. The basic web server. It doesn't. I'm pretty sure that it does not come with the server edition. Oddly enough, it's a server edition, but you got to pick which server packages you want. You know, and I probably would want. I'm pretty sure I would want SC Linux on there. Just don't know how big it is. See that? I don't think it'll just install it, so I'm not going to do that now. I'm ready to quit. But yeah, I can shut it down from right here because I'm done with it, right? Yeah. Let's see, am I completely done for now? I believe so. What happens when you go there? Oh, you can change the host name. Pretty host name. Oh, okay. I had control and clicked on that link. What are showing fingerprints? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good thing to show, wasn't it? Don't click on anything else if you don't know what the heck you're clicking on. Those might have been private keys. I'm not sure. Secure shell keys. Yeah, and I still want to remember something that I could run. Didn't. There. I know, there we go, Nano. That's a command line text editor. Now, can I get out of it? I guess it's, oh, that little, I don't know if I'll be able to get out of it. I don't want to do anything, you know, but you could, if you wanted to do anything with it, I think Nano I can run better than Vim. Vim is kind of tricky, it doesn't work normally. But let's see, X for exit, that's what I thought. Maybe it's Control X. Save modified. Oh, I see. Save modified. No. Okay, it went out. Cool. There we go. So if you had to try to edit some file or something, you could. And I was making sure I was still working. Okay. So that was the only other thing I was kind of wanted to try out. Okay, so the other server that's in the garage is doing just as well as this one, so I'm not going to worry about, you know, shut this one down. Now then, shut down now, no delay. That's really cool though. I've never got into using all this all that much. I mean, other than setting things up like I did, you know, to get Apache running and everything, because the machine was right here. Well, it is right here right now, but the plan is to have it in the garage. And I can do everything I've done, you know, remotely. So, and as far as I'm concerned, well, oh, I got to remember to try. I wanted to see if I could go to port 22, you know, like... well, usually if you go through the web browser, that's basically it. The machine thinks you're coming from the internet, and that'll tell you if you're showing on the internet. Well, I can just do it. I can do it. I can use I can use one of those web services to, like this. There's port scanners that you can use to see what ports you have open. I can use ZenMap, Nmap. Of course, I know it's open locally. I want to know, is it open on the internet? So, oh, I got water on my glasses somehow, and it got me off on a wild goose chase to clean my glasses. There. I was fixing to get my bottle of squirt and do everything, which I can do, but not in the middle of my video, right? Okay, my bottle of glasses cleaner. Squirt, you squirt it. Okay, so there we go. Let's close that, disconnect that. Oh, yeah, because when you click on edit a file on the remote server, it still considers that you're... Yes, close it. Okay, and everything should be pretty tired by now, so... I'm pretty tired by now. Okay, so there we go. That only took an hour and a half plus 3 hours and 22 minutes. So, well, I found out what I needed to know, but I didn't fix anything. Found out lots of stuff. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think it over this evening and tonight and tomorrow. Probably won't be until tomorrow when I got to sleep on it, figure out what to do next. But I actually haven't, other than learning a lot. I enjoyed it. Things were, well, especially really enjoyed. I know it may seem silly. I really enjoyed how easy it was to get the VNC Remote Desktop up and going on there. Just type in inet dot, or was it inet? Something like that. Dot. I think it was inet.vnc. And I was able to log on to it and do that whole thing on video. That's cool. So, we'll see later what I end up doing. I just really want my my music section of my website working, but I want it to get it working well, and then I can leave it alone for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever. Even if it's just kind of a somewhat temporary situation, so that I can get back and finish Mom's machine, get it done, and get it to her. But if nothing else, I guess I could just redirect my website to my archive.org page for the music, but I hate doing that, really. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye-bye.